All right, and we are live. Welcome back with Murphy Mack to another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast, where we help you get started on your fitness journey. What is up, everybody? Hope y'all having a great weekend or weekday. If you listen to this on Monday, hope y'all had a great weekend and y'all ready to attack the week. So y'all go ahead and do something today to set yourself up to win the week. If you can't win the whole week if you don't start winning on Monday. So y'all go ahead and do that. Yeah, we got another podcast for y'all today. Thank y'all for tuning in. Today's podcast topic is, well, really, it's a question that we're going to answer. And that question is, where do I even begin on my fitness journey? So we starting from scratch, from square one, from day one. Where do you even begin? Because there's a lot of misconceptions out there. There's all kinds of information out there on the internet, some good, some bad, some contradict each other. You don't know who to believe, what to do, when to do it, how to do it. There's so much information out there and so many different people preaching different things. And I want to go ahead and put this out there up front. There is no cookie cutter, one size fits all way to do fitness, to go about fitness, to work on your fitness or your health in general. It's going to be very, very dependent on you specifically. And there's a lot of things that go into what's going to make it different. I mean, of course, you have your generic stuff like your age, your sex, your goal, your health, your previous health, previous injuries, things like that. So it's going to be very specific. So what works for one person may not work for another person. And that's the reason why we get all these different contradictions when it comes to fitness. And that's because people will tend to preach what works for them specifically. And what works for them may not work for you. So that's why there's a lot of I'm not going to say misinformation, but there's a lot of confusion. There's not a lot of people that don't necessarily know what to do because you have different people saying different things, telling you to do different things. And unfortunately, it's going to be one of those things you kind of have to trial and error yourself. You have to figure it out for yourself. Yeah, you can follow some good fundamental rules, and that's what we're going to go over today in today's podcast. These rules should apply for pretty much everybody. It's going to be very general things when it comes to your health and your fitness. And then as you get more into the weeds of it, you're going to want to get more specific. That's tailored towards you. So with that being said, I am not perfect in my fitness journey by no means. I don't know everything. What works for me may not work for you. If it does work for you, great. But like I said, it's going to be kind of trial and error. You're going to kind of have to figure it out yourself. You're going to have to do different things to see what works best for you because nobody's the same. Nobody has the same story. Nobody has the same schedule. Nobody has the same, things going on in their life. There's all kinds of different things that differ from person to person. So you can never compare apples to apples when it comes to fitness. And that's okay, but that's what makes it so fun. That's why I enjoy it because it's like a puzzle. You gotta figure it out, and it takes years. It's a long time. I'm still learning today. I mean, I've been working out for over 11 years now, and I'm still piecing things together, still figuring things out. Sorry, I got scoot up. But yeah, I'm still figuring it out. I'm still learning. So yeah, I learn more each week when I do this podcast because I have to research things and learn different things. So yeah, without rambling on anymore, that's what I was trying to say. Let's go ahead and hop into the podcast. So where do I even begin on my fitness journey? I think this is a good topic because I know a lot of us get overwhelmed with all the different information out there. We get confused or we just get stuck. We don't know where to go. We don't know what to do. So this video is going to be for you if that's something you've been dealing with. I'm going to try to break it down into simple, actionable steps so that way we can hopefully clear it up a little bit and give you the right direction, kind of get you set on the right path to get you started. And this ain't just for people that's just now starting. I mean, definitely applies to everybody. But so section number 1, where to begin? Like, what should you do? When it comes to first starting out, I can break down what you should do into three different steps. So the first step is start with a simple goal. So what is your goal? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to get out of starting a fitness journey? Well, it could be a lot of different things for a lot of different people. It could be, for the majority of people, it's probably going to be lose weight. It could also be gain weight. That was me. I was a little skinny dude. I needed to gain some weight, gain some muscle. It could be to get stronger. It could be to help some health benefits that you're having, some health issues that you're having, and make it help that. Or it could be to fit into your old favorite pair of jeans that you used to wear that you want to fit in. Or it could be you want to be able to get outside and go play with your kids and run around with them, but you can't because your health isn't where it needs to be. There's all kinds of different reasons or goals. So figure out what that goal is that you're trying to do. So for most people, it's going to be lose weight. So let's say lose 50 pounds or whatever. So you got to have that goal because this is going to be kind of like your vision. This is going to be like the end goal. Like this is going to be where you're trying to get. And you need that so you can stay on that path. So you can look at it and you can stay on track. So that's step number one. Step number two is you want to focus on movement, not perfection. So when it comes to your fitness journey, it's not going to be perfect. Point blank, period. You're not going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect in their fitness journey. Not even professional bodybuilders. They're not even perfect. I mean, they're pretty dang close to perfect, but they slip up every now and then. But with that being said, though, you don't need a fancy gym membership, fancy gym equipment in your house. Like, you don't need none of that. When you're first getting started, like literally, you could just start with going for a walk. Go for a walk. Literally, it's not that hard. Because going for a walk is more than what you're doing now. You're probably doing nothing. So going for a walk is a great place to start. And honestly, I would suggest this for anybody, no matter what level your fitness journey is. You should be walking. Walking is just great. It's great movement, low impact. It burns calories. It's great to get outside, get some fresh air. So go for a walk. It's as easy as that. Next, you can start doing some body weight workouts. Like start with body weight workouts, especially if you're just beginning. Body weight workouts is all you're gonna need. I promise. You don't need no weights when you're just getting started. You could do body weight for a long time and see results, especially if your goal is to try to lose some weight. Body weight workouts, they can be tough. If you don't believe that, try to do some pull-ups, some push-ups, some air squats, some crunches. Like do things like this. They're tough. Like body weight workouts they can be just as hard. You can make them harder. So, like I said, you don't need no fancy equipment. You can literally do body weight exercises at home. You can do them in your living room, in your bedroom, in your garage, in your yard. I would suggest get outside in your yard, do it. Take your shoes off so you can do a little bit of grounding, get some sunlight, and do it outside. Get some fresh air. Or you can even look up a little yoga session or a little workout session on YouTube. YouTube's a great source. Look it up, and you can start with this. You don't have to have a gym membership. You don't have to be fancy. You don't have to do all that. So focus on movement, not perfection. Try to get movement into your everyday routine, literally. You don't have to be working out every single day, but you should be moving. You don't want to be sedentary all the time, especially if you have a desk job. You need to get up and move your body. This is going to be key when it comes to working on your fitness. Step number 3, you need to learn the basics of nutrition. Nutrition, this is probably going to be the most difficult part when it comes to your fitness journey, or at least it is for me. It may not be for everybody, but it's hard because there's a lot of different foods out there, and there's a lot of things that you should learn when it comes to nutrition. But the best thing to do is try to keep it simple. Like you don't need to count every single calorie of all the foods you eat. Yeah, if that works for you, do it. By all means, do it. If you like to count calories, it works. It does. I'm not hating on that. For me personally, I just can't do it. I can't count every single calorie of everything I eat. I don't like it, but that being said, I've been doing this for a very long time. So I have a very good idea of how many calories I'm eating in a day. If you haven't been counting calories, you've never done it before, you probably have no clue how many calories you're eating in a day. Let's just be honest. Like you probably have no clue if you're not tracking it. So when you're first starting out, honestly, I would probably recommend doing it for a while. It'll allow you to get a better gauge of how much you're actually eating in every meal. After a while, you'll be able to like eyeball how much food or how many calories it is just by looking at it and by eating the foods that you eat normally. I would just say keep it simple. Start by adding whole food. So what is a whole food? Whole food is like any food that has one single ingredient in its original form. So think of things that come from the earth. So things that grow in the earth, that grow in the ground. So plants, vegetables, potatoes, like these grow in the ground. But any kind of vegetable. And then think of things like animals. So animals are on the earth. So a little example I like to use is think about foods that were here, foods that a caveman would eat. So when a caveman was roaming the earth, what was here for him to eat? If it wasn't here back then it's probably not something you should be eating now. So in other words, it's processed foods. Cavemen were not eating processed foods because they wasn't a thing. But now, just try to stay away from those the best you can. So add fruits, vegetables, and protein, meats. Whole grains also you can do. Yeah. And then on top of that, you want to make sure you're staying hydrated. So drink tons of water, plenty of water. Your pee should be clear. If it ain't clear, you ain't drinking enough water. Period. So that's my 3 steps for what you should do. I mean, those are probably like 3 most basic, simple steps that you should do when you're starting your fitness journey. So now we're gonna get into what you should not do, what not to do when starting your fitness journey. And number 1, that's to compare yourself to others. Do not compare yourself to others. I always like to use this little analogy. You've probably heard me say it before, but I always say, do not compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10. So think of it like reading a book. You're on chapter 1 still. They're on chapter 10. So you can't compare yourself to them because you ain't got to chapter 10 yet. You can't compare it. Guess what? They started on chapter 1 right where you're at. They started in the same place. And guess what? They were consistent over time. They kept flipping the pages. They went from chapter to chapter to chapter, moving on. And that's what you got to do. But you can't compare yourself to them when they already put in the work. You ain't put in the work yet. You ain't been consistent. You ain't done it for years yet. Like, you can't compare yourself. So don't waste your time. They're in front of you. They've been doing it. Let's just be honest. Let's just say how it is. They've outworked you. But guess what? They started right where you're at. You can get there too. You can get to chapter 10, but you got to start flipping the pages one page at a time, chapter by chapter. So don't compare yourself to them because you're not where they're at yet in your fitness journey, but you can get there. And they started on chapter 1, 2, just like you did. So don't compare yourself because everybody else is different. Like, they don't have the same circumstances that you have. Your journey is yours. It is yours. Like, nobody else's is never the same. Like, my journey is not going to be the same as yours. Yours is not going to be the same as mine. Mine's not even going to be the same as my best friend or my brother or somebody I'm very close to. Like, ours is not going to be the same. It's going to be different. So you can't compare it. Stop wasting your time comparing it. It holds no weight. Just focus on your progress and not on somebody else's highlight reel that you see on Instagram when you see them at their best. Like, don't compare yourself to them because social media can be a lie. I'm not saying everybody's lying on there, but it can. Some of it can be deceiving. So don't always believe everything you see on there. Because most of the time people are posting their best on when it comes to social media. So don't compare yourself to them. Number 2, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Going too hard, too fast, that is a recipe for burnout, and it is a recipe for injury. Don't do it. Don't overdo it. If you ain't working out already, don't start going to the gym 5 days a week. Don't. Because, 1, it's not going to be sustainable, and 2, you're probably going to overdo it. You need to start with something more realistic, like maybe 3 days a week or 2 days a week. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to burn out because then you're going to quit. If you burn out, you're going to quit, or if you get injured, you're not going to be able to go because you're going to be injured. So if you never lifted weights before, don't start with the heaviest dumbbells. Don't start with a 2-hour long workout. You got to ease into it. Start slow. Like I said, start with a walk. Start with body weight workouts. And then easily progress over time. Don't try to overdo it. Number 3, don't fall for quick fixes. If there's a program or a supplement or a food or a pill or a shot out there that's promising insane results in just a few days and just a few weeks, months, whatever, it's probably too good to be true. And this is so true when it comes to fitness. If it's promising you some crazy results when it comes to fitness, it's more than likely too good to be true, period. Point blank, period. Fitness is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's going to take you a long time. It's going to take consistency over a long time. It's not going to be easy. So don't fall for the quick fixes. If it seems like it's too good to be true, then it more than likely it's too good to be true. So that's number 3. Don't fall for quick fixes, especially when it comes to fitness. So in the next section, we're going to hop into debunking some of the common fitness myths that go around and some common ones that get beginners a lot. So the first myth is you need to work out for hours every day. This couldn't be further from the truth. This is definitely not true. You don't need to work out every day, and you shouldn't work out every day, and you shouldn't work out for hours, especially when you're first starting out. You should work out if you only have 20 minutes or 30 minutes, like, do a workout. 20 or 30 minutes is great, especially when you're first beginning. But if that's all you have, do it because that's way better than not doing it at all. 1, it makes you be more consistent, and 2, you can get a lot more done in that 30 minutes than you realize. So just do it. When you're first getting out, 30 minutes is great. Like, you don't need 2 hours. 1 hour, that would be my goal, is to work your way up to 1 hour. I think 1 hour is a good time limit just because It's 1 hour. We do time in hours, so I think 1 hour is pretty reasonable. And you can get a lot done in that 1 hour. But you don't need to start there. Like if you don't have an hour, if you only have 20 minutes, if you only have 30 minutes, knock out a 20-minute workout. You just want to build that consistency, and this can be huge and make a huge difference over time. So think of more of quality over quantity. So you don't have to work out every day, and I would recommend not to work out every day because you will overdo it. You don't have to work out for 2 or 3 hours a day. Just do an hour. That would be good. So that's myth number 1. Myth number 2, you have to eat perfectly to see results. This is definitely not the truth because I don't know anybody that eats perfectly. I don't eat perfectly. I like my sweets. I still eat junk food, but I do it reasonably. Your progress isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Point blank, period. I like to follow the 80-20 rule. So when it comes to my diet, I like to eat clean 80% of the time, and then the other 20% of the time, I eat what I want. And that's kind of what I follow. So and for me, it looks like during the week, I normally eat pretty clean. Like I meal prep my lunches and stuff, and eat pretty clean during the week. Now on the weekend, I like to eat what I want. I like to go have some ice cream, have a dessert. I like to eat the junk food. But that's because since I was eating clean during the week, I could afford to eat a cheat meal on the weekend. So you don't have to eat perfect. That's couldn't be further from the truth. You don't want to cut out your favorite foods because guess what? If you cut out your favorite foods, you're not going to stick with it. You're going to quit. You're going to give up, and you're going to go back to eating the way you were before. So one bad meal is not going to ruin your progress. For real, it's not. One bad meal is not going to do it. So it's kind of like just like one good meal, it's not going to fix everything. So one good meal is not going to fix it. One bad meal is not going to ruin your progress. So quit thinking that way because most people go all in or all out. One bad meal is okay. Put that bad meal past you. Eat good the rest after that, and you'll be right back on track. Myth number 3, cardio is the only way to lose weight. Well, I will say cardio is a good way to lose weight. It does burn a lot of calories. It does. But when it comes to fitness, you need to focus on strength training as well. It's just as important as cardio, especially when it comes to losing weight. People think strength training is just for building muscle. No, it's also for losing weight. Because guess what? When you're building muscle, you're boosting your metabolism. Guess what happens when you boost your metabolism? You burn more calories. Even when you're at rest. Like right now, I'm probably burning more calories than you're burning. And I'm sitting still. Because I have a higher metabolism. Because I built it up. I built muscle. When you have a higher metabolism, you can eat more calories. You burn more calories. And honestly, you will burn more calories throughout the day. Because your body is kind of trying to repair itself. It's trying to build more muscle. That burns calories. When you get done doing cardio, your body's done doing cardio. Like when you get done, your body's done burning calories right then and there. Now, you may not burn as much calories in a strength training workout as you would in a cardio workout, but in the long run, in the long term, strength training is going to burn more calories in the long run. So, am I saying you shouldn't do cardio? No, you should still do cardio. I do cardio a lot. I'm running a lot right now, but I'm also focusing on my strength training as well. So I say you should have a good mix of both. It depends on what you're training for, but if it's just for general fitness, yeah, I would say do both. So the next section, we're going to talk about some self-limiting beliefs and how to overcome those. I got 3 self-limiting beliefs for you that you hear a lot when it comes to fitness journeys and people starting. And that first one is, I'm too out of shape to start. Well, everyone's got to start somewhere. There's no such thing as being too out of shape. Even the fittest person in the gym was a beginner at once. Even me, I was a beginner at once. Focus on where you're at now and take it one step at a time. There's no such thing as being too out of shape. And if you're saying I'm too out of shape to start, then you definitely should be starting a fitness journey. Like this is definitely for you. You need to be starting a fitness journey because if you've gotten that far, then you're probably not in the best health and you probably need to work on that. Starting a fitness journey is a great way to do it. So I'm too out of shape to start. It's not a good excuse. Like you need to stop telling yourself this. You're not too out of shape. I promise. You can do it. The second one is I don't have enough time. This is the one that kills me the most. Because guess what? I have 24 hours in my day. You have 24 hours in your day. And everybody else got 24 hours in their day. And if I can make time to work out, you can make time to work out. If very busy, successful business owners can make time to work out and work on their health, you can make time to work on your health. I promise it can get done. The reason it don't get done is because fitness is not a priority in your life. You make time for the things that you prioritize in your life, period. And I can prove this to you. If you have kids, you're going to make time to provide for your kids, to spend time with your kids, point blank, period. And nobody's going to take that away from you. Nobody's going to tell you you can't. You're going to sacrifice other things to be with your kids. You are, because you love your kids, and your kids are a priority in your life. And that's great. They should be. But your health should be a priority as well. Your health should be on your schedule of things to do each and every day. Well, you may be thinking, well, where am I going to get this time? How am I going to fit it in? You're going to have to sacrifice something else. You're going to have to sacrifice your hobbies. You're going to have to sacrifice going out with your friends. You're going to have to sacrifice scrolling on social media. You're going to have to sacrifice, I don't know, whatever else you do that's not a priority, that's not a necessity. You may have to sacrifice those things to work on your fitness, to work on your health. You don't need hours in your day to prioritize your health. Like I said, you can get a good workout done in 30 minutes. That's all you need. So if you have to, even start with like 15 minutes. If you have to go for a little 15-minute walk, that's great. You may have to wake up earlier. You may have to sacrifice sleep. You may have to sacrifice your lunch break at work to go move your body, to work out. It's small efforts. They add up over time. You do have time in your day, period. There's not one person on here that can tell me that they don't have time. You have to make time. You have to make it. You have to sacrifice other things to make the time, period. We all have the same 24 hours in our day, and if we can do it, you can do it too. For example, I don't have time to work out in the afternoons. I got a lot of things to do in the afternoon after I get off work. So what do? I wake up at 4 a.m. every morning, and I go to the gym before I get to work. Is that what I want to do? No, I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. That sounds miserable, but I do it every single day, and I get up and I go because I'm sacrificing that morning time. I'm sacrificing a little bit of sleep to get up and focus on my health. Now, I know what you're saying is you should be getting your sleep, and yes, you should. You should be getting sleep as well. But what I do is I go to bed early. Like I'm in the bed at like 7 o'clock most nights. I know that's crazy to say, but I'm asleep early, and I sacrifice that. Like most people are probably up, hanging out with their friends or doing whatever at their house. I sacrifice that. I go get into bed because I know I got to get up early. I got to go to bed. I got to get up at 4 a.m. So during the week, I'm in the bed by 7:30, 8 o'clock. And I don't get a lot of stuff done in the afternoon because I know I got to get up early. So that's a sacrifice I make. So it can be done. And number 3, I failed before, so I'll just fail again. Well, past failures, they don't define you. You're going to fail, period. Like if something's hard, challenging, you're more than likely going to fail at it. And that's okay. But just think about what you did last time. Think about what didn't work. Think about how you can learn from that. Think about how you can adjust that. Maybe you just didn't give it enough effort. Maybe you gave up too soon. Maybe you didn't have a clear plan. Maybe you didn't know what to do. Maybe you had a major life event happen or something like that. Learn from that. Learn from those mistakes. Learn from that failure, and then keep going. Use that to your advantage in the future. I like to say, like most business owners that have a successful business, that's more than likely not their first business. They more than likely have had 2, 3, 4 other businesses before they found one that actually worked, that was successful. Because they didn't want to give up. They didn't want to fail. They kept going. They kept trying it, and they finally figured it out. They finally was successful at it. I mean, that's pretty common. Like, you're going to fail, period. Like, there's going to be things that you fail at, but you got to just keep going. You got to learn from it, put it past you, try again. Yeah, so that's some self-limiting beliefs that typically come up when starting your fitness journey. So now I'm going to give you some action steps on how to get started. I got 4 action steps for you that can help you get started on your fitness journey that you can do today. You can do this right now, right after this podcast episode. You can do this. So number 1, write down your why. Get clear on what your why is. Why do you want to get fit? Is it to feel more confident? Is it to have more energy to hang out with your kids, to play with your kids? Is it to just feel better? Is it to work on some health issues that you're having? Is it so you can live longer, so you can be happier? So you can fit in your old jeans? Whatever your why is, it's gonna be different depending on who you are. Write that down and keep that in your head. Keep that in the back of your head and use that as motivation. You're gonna need that why when it comes to the days that you don't want to do it, the days that you want to quit. That why is what's gonna keep you going. It's what's gonna keep you motivated, to keep you pushing through on those hard days. You're gonna need to remember that why. Number 2, schedule your workouts. Schedule them. Literally, treat them like appointments. They're important appointments. Start with 2 or 3 days a week and stick to it. Guess what? You schedule time. You schedule meetings at work. You take your kids to their appointments when they're scheduled. Like, the reason we do this, the reason we schedule them, and one, so we remember them, but two, because the things that get scheduled, things that get planned out, they get done. Like you do them because they're there on your schedule. Because at that time you're doing that specific thing. So say at 9:00 you got to take your kid to the dentist. Well, Monday rolls around. Hey, at this time I'll be at the dentist, and you're gonna do it. So it helps to schedule your workouts in your calendar. Put them in your calendar. I know we all use digital calendars now. Like we all have one on our phone. Put it in there. Write it down. Tuesday afternoon, 5:00, gym, 5 to 5:30, gym. Put it in there. Or workout, whatever. Zumba class, yoga class, walking with my husband, walking with my wife, walking with the kids, like whatever it is. Put it in there, schedule it, write it down so you remember it, and it'll be more. It'll be right there. You can see it. It's important. Things that get written down, they get planned out, they get done. Number 3, track your progress. I suggest taking progress photos. I think this is the best way to see visual differences when it comes to your fitness journey. You could also do measurements. You can measure yourself. That's another good one too. And then also keep a workout journal. If you're doing workouts, keep a workout journal, especially if you're trying to get stronger. You're going to need the journal so you can write down how much you're lifting, how many reps you're doing, things like that. But I like the photos because it's easy to compare a photo from a month ago and a photo from like today or in a month from now. It's easy to put them side by side and compare them and see the differences. When you're looking at yourself every day in the mirror, you don't really see the differences as much because you see yourself every day. It's a slow progression. But when you can take a picture from a month ago and a picture from today and compare them, you can see the differences better. So I like progress photos, and that's what I would suggest. But yeah, whatever way you want to track it, track it. You can track your weight. They have apps and stuff now that do that. Track your workouts, things like that. Track how you feel. And then number 4, this is a big one. Find a community. Whether it's a friend, whether it's an online group, whether it's this channel, this podcast, I love to be your community. I'll support you. Having a support group makes a huge difference. You're not in this alone. We're all in this together. It's not easy for any of us, so it's a journey. It's not gonna be a continuous path up. It's gonna be a roller coaster. It's gonna be up, then it's gonna be down. It's gonna be up, then it's gonna be down. So find a community, find a workout partner, find a buddy, somebody that you can work out with. Or if you don't have nobody, find a group online, social media, Facebook. They got all kinds of groups. Find you a group class at your gym. There may be a class, or there may be a group of people that work out in there that you could work out with. There may be a group of people at work. If you know people at work that like to work out, that like to go for walks after work or whatever they do, like to go to Pilates or Zumba class or whatever it is, CrossFit. Find your community, find some support, and use that to your advantage. Because I think we're meant to be together. We're meant to be with other people. We're meant to have community. We're not meant to be alone. We're not meant to be isolated. I promise you, if you just ask around, people would love to work out with you or help you out or let you tag in on some workouts at the gym. Like most people are pretty friendly when it comes to working out and fitness. So don't be afraid to ask them or ask for some help. So with all that being said, remember, your fitness journey, it's about progress. It's not about perfection. Start small, stay consistent, and don't be afraid to ask somebody for help if you need it. So if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Check us out, the Fitness Beginner Podcast. Drop a comment down there telling me if you're going to start your fitness journey or if you already started your fitness journey. Let me know. If you have any questions, let me know down there. Ask me a question. I'll get back to you. I like to answer all the questions on there. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Share it with a friend. Leave a review. I'd appreciate it. Leave a review, 5 stars if you can. So let's crush these goals together. We all got goals. Let's go ahead and go get after it. And y'all tune back in next week for another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace, love, protein. We out.